You can provide your own species record data to the NBN Atlas. Data is stored in the NBN Atlas in Darwin Core format, which uses data standards that are used by biological recorders internationally. If you're familiar with Darwin Core and Darwin Archive, please send the Darwin Archive containing your dataset to data@nbn.org.uk. If you're unfamiliar with Darwin Core, you can use the templates found on the NBN website. Access these templates by clicking Get Involved on the NBN Atlas homepage, then selecting Share Data with the NBN Atlas. Under Preparing Species Data, select NBN Atlas Data Upload Template CSV to download the template. Open the template and you will be presented with the following headings. Each row will refer to a different species occurrence record. In the first column, Occurrence ID, enter a unique ID for the species record. This can be any combination of numbers and letters, and should not be changed if the dataset is updated. Under the second column, Scientific Name, enter the scientific name of the species or taxon. This can be any taxonomic level, for example, order, family, or genus and species. You can also enter the name of a subspecies, and you can give the author and date of the taxon if known. Under the third column, Taxon ID, enter the taxon version key for the species or taxon, taken from the UK Species Inventory. These can be found through the NBN Atlas. To find the taxon version key for a species, navigate to the Species Overview page from the NBN Atlas homepage. Watch the video on basic species information if you need guidance. Under the Names tab, the taxon version key is listed under Identifier. Under the fourth column, Event Date, enter the date that the species was recorded in the format year, month, day with dashes in between. You can enter just the year or year and month, or specify a date range by leaving a / between the appropriate days. Under the fifth column, Recorded By, enter the name of the species recorder. For multiple recorders, separate the names with the vertical line. The primary recorder should be listed first. Under the sixth column, License, list the license that applies to the species record. To learn more about licenses, please watch the licenses video. Under the seventh column, Rights Holder, enter the person or organisation who own or manage rights to the data resource. Under the eighth column, Coordinate Uncertainty in meters, enter the distance in meters from the provided location, which describes a circle containing the whole of the location. A reasonable lower limit for GPS under good conditions is around 30 meters. Under the ninth column, Grid Reference, enter the OS grid reference where the record was made. Alternatively, enter decimal latitude and longitude values in the 10th and 11th columns respectively.
Under the 12th column, Dataset Name, enter the name of the dataset.
Repeat these steps for each record, filling in a new row per record. Selecting Guide to NBN Atlas Data Upload Template will help you fill in the template. You can also download a metadata template from the NBN Atlas, providing additional information regarding the dataset. Select NBN Atlas Metadata Form from the Share Your Data screen. Open this template to be presented with the following row titles. Next to the first row heading, Dataset Title, give the name of the dataset. If the dataset does not yet have a formal title, give it one that describes its contents. By the second row heading, Creator, give the name of the individual who created and submitted the dataset. By the third row heading, Organisation Name, give the name of your organisation or group as it is registered in the atlas. By the fourth row heading, Email Address, give the email address of the dataset creator. By the fifth row heading, Description, give a general overview of the dataset. If you have an existing description, you should use this. If you have included absence records in your dataset, please describe the sampling involved. Please note that ad hoc or casual absence records should be excluded. By the sixth row heading, Additional Metadata, give the purpose for which the records were collected and the reason for which the dataset was created, if different. By the seventh row heading, Intellectual Rights, give the license attributed to the dataset. See Licenses for more information. By the eighth row heading, Geographic Coverage, enter the geographical extent of the dataset. This may be larger than the geographic extent of the records themselves, if occurrences were not recorded throughout the whole survey area. Give a summary of how complete the coverage of the dataset is, for example, any bias towards populated areas. Also summarise the precision of your records, such as 10 km OS grid squares. By the ninth row heading, Temporal Coverage, give a summary of the level of recording over time. This may be longer than the time range represented by the records if surveying was maintained without any records for a period. Summarise any periods of strong or weak recording effort and the date precision for these records, for instance, date, month or year. By the 10th row heading, Methods, give a summary of the techniques used to create the dataset. This includes criteria for inclusion of records, data verification methods, and method used in data capture. Mention any uncertainty with your data capture methods. By the 11th row heading, Quality Control, give your level of confidence in the data. For example, older datasets may not have been regularly updated in recent years and may include outdated taxonomy. Highlight any areas of the data that may need checking. By the 12th row heading, Verification Status, please indicate whether the dataset has been verified by entering Verified or Unverified. By the 13th row heading, Additional Info, indicate where any other information on the dataset may be found, for instance on your organisation's website. Also indicate any support you can offer with regards to the data. By the 14th row heading, Bounding Coordinates, give the latitude and longitude coordinates of the extent of the records in the dataset, if available. By the 15th row heading, Contact, give the name and contact details including email address, phone number and postal address for the contact person for the dataset, if possible. There is also a guide to help you use this template. Select Guide to NBN Atlas Metadata form. Once you have filled in the data template and metadata template as much as possible, please send them to data@nbnatlas.org. Data may take a little while to appear on the NBN Atlas as it is processed by our staff.